We'll get into his answer on Alex Bregman coming up and Scott Boras, his little scrum yesterday. But I'm a little nervous about the starting pitching and how they're going to acquire it, Keefe, because I thought going into the offseason, Skubal potentially could be available, and I don't know if that meant he'd go here.
Yeah, but maybe on the move and sets up some other stuff.
Well, and that could just create, teams in on Skubal, and maybe that makes the next guy to slide into the Red Sox that much easier. Yeah. They should be in on Skubal if he's going to get dealt. Nightingale said it's not happening. Him and Skeens are not moving. They both won the Cy Young last night. Not happening. According to Nightingale, Bradfo seemed a little less convinced.
Yeah, I think something could happen with Skubal, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's likely. It's very low percent.
So where we all go is Joe Ryan. And we asked him, give us some names beyond Joe Ryan. You asked about some free agents, Dylan Cease and...
Framber Valdez.
Thank you. And I said, all right, well, what are some other trade targets beside those free agents? Because he didn't sound sold they're going to get the free agents. And what if they strike out on Joe Ryan? What if somebody else beats him to it? Sandy Alcantara and MacKenzie Gore, those are the names that I'm like, if that's the drop, Skubal's out.
I would take
It's all about Joe Ryan. No, I would take them too.
No, I know, but I get your point. It's not when Breslow says we want to get a guy that is like right alongside Garrett Crochet, or he's like, or like a number 2 guy that we put in the playoffs. You're like, so that's obviously, I'm thinking higher end than Brian Bayo. And obviously, we're not talking like Patrick Sandoval, like whatever guy that they get that they're like hoping that comes back. Like, okay, that's late in or that's deeper in the rotation. Guys like Connolly Early and Peyton Tolley that might be there. They're like good wild cards. They're like, if they're good, awesome. But you need somebody else that you can rely on. Joe Ryan would fit that bill. After that, I don't know. Like Sandy Alcantara was really, really good in 2022.
He won the Cy Young.
It's 3 years ago.
Right.
And the year after that, he was pretty average. The year after that, he didn't pitch. He was hurt. And then the year after that, this most recent season, total ERA over 5. So, I mean, that's like, we know he's capable of it, but it hasn't been for a few years. That's like when the Patriots always bring in wide receivers. And I'd be like, they were good 3 years ago.
Right.
Be good.
But this should be your kind of guy, actually, playing that out.
So that's a little bit frustrating. Like, that is... Because we all dream of like sort of like the best case scenario for the Red Sox offseason. And there are a lot of names that are out there. Like there's some big hitters that are out there. And so when Breslow's talking about a middle of the order bat, they're available. Those guys in free agency are available. Pitchers, I think there's a couple in free agency that might fit that bill. Like I think I might like Dylan Cease more than Sandy Alcantara. And he would be a straight signing than a trade. And
I do, but I don't know.
But he's also not like a slam dunk. Okay. He's like an every other year guy, isn't he?
We like him.
Yeah.
Are the Red Sox going to pay for him and a bat? No.
Oh, no.
No. So, no. I just think I would be happy if they signed Dylan Cease.
Shouldn't be...
I almost crossed that one off. I don't think they're going to sign a big-ticket starting pitcher. I think they're going to trade for one.
But that shouldn't
if they get one.
This shouldn't be how they think about it.
No,
because
it shouldn't
be. If they trade for Joe Ryan, they're going to have to pay him.
Sure.
But now you've traded pieces away. So, all right, let's say Joe Ryan's better than Dylan Cease. That's fine. But let's say for the sake of argument, it's close. Would you rather trade, Peyton Tolley in part of a deal to get Joe Ryan back, and then whether it's right before opening day or during the season or at the start of next season, give him like a similar to a Garrett Crochet contract, or just sign Dylan Cease for what's going to be even a little bit more than that, but then you keep your guy?
So I agree with your logic, and I think Ryan's a better pitcher, but I agree with the logic. I don't think they agree with that logic.
No.
I think they would rather wait, have some leverage negotiating the contract, sign their own contract with him reworking the deal, if it's the case of Joe Ryan. And now you're not giving him all this money up front with a free agent contract. It's an extension, and you can probably play around with how that cash flow and how you pay him, et cetera. So my guess is that's what they'd want to do. That'd be their preference. They should be in on everything, but this is the Red Sox and John Henry we're talking about. They're just not, and we have to accept it.
Yeah.
So MacKenzie Gore I'm intrigued by.
Yes.
And honestly,
good strikeout guy.
I think the match makes a lot of sense that the GM there in Washington, Paul Taboni, came from here. He would know the farm system and maybe even covet some players in the farm system.
He's like, give me the password. I need the password.
I think that trade makes some sense. I just don't think he's been as good as some people talk about him. He was an all-star last year, ERA over 4.
Right.
He is a strikeout guy. He is left-handed. You could have like 2 premium lefties at the front of the rotation who punch guys out. I like that.
And then Tolley and Early, you have only lefties.
I mean, he's young enough, right? He's going to be 27 in February, so he'll be 27 all year.
He's younger than a lot of the guys we talk about.
I like it. I just don't. I'm not convinced he's way better than Brian Bayo or the way that Breslow talked about it the other day. We have a 1. We're comfortable with our 3 through 10. We need a 2. I'm not totally convinced he's a 2.
No, we're talking about a lot of B minus guys, which obviously there's a spot for them in the rotation, and they'd be an upgrade overall, but it doesn't seem like it's like a big step forward or it's this big splash. And that was part of the discussion around the trade deadline was like, all right, guys, they didn't get Joe Ryan, but the asking price is too high. Just like Garrett Crochet the year before, the asking price is too high, but they were able to get him in the offseason. So stay tuned on Joe Ryan. But then if that pivots to MacKenzie Gore or Sandy Alcantara, I'll take them. I just think you're going a little bit lower. Like you're not taking that huge swing like you would have with Crochet like a year ago or even Ryan.
Hunter Greene's a good name. Hunter Greene's been awesome in Cincinnati. He's younger than Gore. He is right-handed, but he's been better than Gore.
Yeah.
And he's younger, and he's a name that's available. That's an interesting one. That's not one that Bradfo mentioned yesterday, but that's an interesting one. How do they get pitching? And are all the eggs in the Joe Ryan basket? Because if the fallback is Sandy Alcantara or the fallback is even someone like MacKenzie Gore, who I think you're going to have to pay a lot for, I don't think those guys are locks. So how are they going to get pitching this offseason? And what are they going to do to replace Alex Bregman, the Brexit, as Boris put it yesterday, Keefe?
He is a comedian. Yeah, I feel terrible about this. This is really, of all my opinions on the Red Sox, this one's changed the most. All season long, I'm like, Bregman will be back.
This changed quite a bit in the last 24 hours since we talked to Bradfo yesterday. You'll hear Rob Bradford. He doesn't think Bregman's coming back. Doesn't think it's likely anyway. And we'll hear from Scott Boras as well. We got a nice little stand-up routine from Boras yesterday that I want to get to. That's coming up next.